Hello, beautiful ladies. Over 40 Fit and Fab podcast and YouTube with Karen McCoy. That's me. Today, I want to talk about fear. So we have fears that come in play, and that is often what upseeds our attempts at getting any kind of a body recompositioning, physique transformation, weight loss, whatever it happens to be, more shape, more tone, better relationship with food. So I want to go through those 5 fears with you because these are usually what is pulling women away from their desires and their goals. So the first fear is a fear of success, believe it or not. A lot of women are actually afraid of success. Now, a lot of these are self-limiting, unconscious beliefs. And so this is where I always work with women on an unconscious level. And it takes going through a couple of exercises that I've crafted to be able to bring the unconscious to the surface so we can really see what's going on and work with it, because you can't change what you can't see. And so the fear of success is really where some women, when we get down to the nitty gritty, often feel like they don't deserve to have a great physique, or they have to suffer through and success isn't worth it. And so they also sometimes, I had one woman saying, I don't know who I am if I'm not in a body that is 200 pounds. I don't know who I would be if I was lean and sexy. So there was that self-sabotaging whenever the scale started to go down, and she would go 20, 30 pounds, and it would always self-sabotage. And it was because she was butting up against this belief system that she had to eradicate. And without doing the work prior to being with me, without doing the work, she would hit that 30 pounds lost, and then she would bounce back up. She go, I don't understand why, but I go out and I eat stuff and I self-sabotage and all this kind of stuff. It's because this little psyche is running the show. The unconscious, 95% of our brain is running the show. It's not the conscious stuff. Consciously, we know what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to eat that shit, right? We're not supposed to be binging, but there is this draw inside that brings us back to our old habits and our comfort zone. And that is just the psyche. That's the way we're wired. So we have to rewire. So fear of success is big for women. Fear of failure is obviously a big one too. So a lot of women that have done a lot of diets, or they have seen themselves as failing, which I say nothing is failing, only if you stop trying. Always come back to the front row, because you can always do something differently. But the fear of failure, after women have done so many diets over the years, and they may have done well for a while, and then it comes back. I had one woman who I was chatting with. She had lost 100 pounds 5 times over. 5 times over. And so I said to her, what would happen? And she goes, I don't know. I'd be really good for a while. And then all of a sudden, I would lose all momentum, all control, all willpower. And it slowly came back on. And every time it came on faster and with more vengeance, which is also what happens too. So by the time she came to me and was considering working with me, she let the fear get in the way, and she has never stepped back in to try again, because for her, it was way too painful to possibly fail again. So she decided, I'm not going to do it. And she is challenged in her health. And challenged in many ways because of that. But for her, she could not step through that fear to the other side. So that's the fear of failure. The third one is a fear of what will other people think of me, right? And this is a big one for women. So it has different layers. So for a lot of women, they're afraid of what their family members will say. And sometimes family members can be the worst, right? And I hear stories of, something that was said when my client was 12 years old from her dad or from her mother. The female digs are the worst, and they're the most longest standing sisters, mothers, grandmothers, female friends. I don't know why that is, but it really is. And when there's those things that are said like, oh, you're no fun anymore. I used to hear that one a lot when I was heading into show and had to dial in my food and train at the gym. Oh, you're no fun anymore. And, oh, you're getting too skinny. Oh, I don't think you're very healthy. You're not looking very healthy. So all of these are fears of what other people might say, or there's also a fear of what other people might think, meaning you might challenge a long-standing relationship where they know you a certain way and you're afraid to change your physiology, to get healthy, to get lean, if that's where you're headed, because you fear that you're going to change the relationship. And that's a big one. That can be between friends, between siblings, between husband and wife. So that's a third one that shows up. The fourth one that shows up is fear of what I have to let go of. That's a big one. So we all know pain versus pleasure, right? Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. And so the pain that a lot of women see this as is, I'm never going to be able to have fun. I can't socialize anymore. I won't be able to eat what I want. Food's going to be boring. So there's this whole list of negatives, things that they have to give up, right? I have to give up my free time and go to the gym. I have to shop differently. I have to give up Friday night Haagen-Dazs, whatever it happens to be. Then the pleasure side is where they're missing out. And yeah, they want to be lean, they want to be sexy, they want to be healthy, they want to be strong, but all this other stuff is crowding out. What they need to do is switch it around, right? So instead of worrying about what you have to give up, consider what you're going to gain. And we do a whole list of that stuff. Be strong, be confident, be sexy, have a nice relationship with food, have food freedom, respect food, have self-love, self-worth, be able to wear rockin' clothes and feel good in your clothes, be able to wear a bathing suit and feel good in that, be able to walk into a room and strut your stuff, have health again, turn around some of the biomarkers that are standing in your way, like high blood pressure, blood sugars, all that kind of stuff. So we have to make a list of all the positives and being able to stay on a strategy of movement and food for the next 30 or 40 years without jostling about, without beating yourself up. So it really is important with the fourth fear that we turn that around where women are afraid to let go of things that they think are the pleasure when they're actually causing the pain, right? That binging is actually causing pain. It is a pleasure in the moment. It's a dopamine rush, but it's causing long-term pain. And then the fifth one is probably the biggest one. And that is a fear of unworthiness. And that lays deep in so many women's psyches and bodies and men, I'm sure too. So the fear of not being worthy of success, not being worthy of being able to manage my body and my life and my aging in the way that I like, being able to feel worthy enough to deserve to live like that. That's a big one. So those are all the lower echelons when we talk about, as an empowerment coach, of course, I work on frequency and energy, and we look at emotions and habits and beliefs and patterns are in the emotional because it's the feeling stuff. And so we've got shame, guilt, anger, frustration, grief, fear, right? They're all down there in the heavier, darker emotions. But we're up here wanting to get a body and health that is resonating in freedom and lightness and joy and bliss and self-love. But when we're trying to get those, when we're coming from down here, it's not going to work, guys. That's why these fears have to come to the surface. They have to be looked at, recognized, validated, and then they'll go away. It's when you don't validate them, when you keep pushing them down or ignoring and pushing them away, or trying another diet or trying another failed workout plan or whatever it happens to be, because you're not getting to the root of anything. And those fears are what need to come up. We don't stay there, we don't live there, but they need to be validated because then they can loosen their hold on you. Then you can put in a stronger belief system, right? An empowered mindset, an expanded self-identity to be able to see and feel where you're moving in a positive way up this way. You cannot create health and wellness up here when you're coming from unhealthy habits and patterns and beliefs and fears. I hope that makes sense. So the 5 fears, check in. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of what others will think of you, fear of what you have to give up, and a fear of failure. Check in. Get real with yourself. Start journaling. And it may just help you to kick those to the curb so that you can move into the body and life that you deserve. All right. Ciao, babies. Oh, I'm blind. I can't see. Oh, yeah, there it is. See? Should have my glasses on. Ciao.